What's up, guys? It's Colin, and you're listening to The Env. I'm here with Andrew from Paint Philadelphia. Thanks for coming on, Andrew.
Thanks for having me.
Very, very welcome. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you guys do, and a little bit about just how you got started, and just give us the rundown.
Yeah, so this wasn't planned. I wanted to be a pilot. Long story short, didn't work out. Colin and I actually went to high school together. I graduated, I joined the Marine Corps, and then I went to college. So I did what is called the reserves. So you go through all the same training that an active duty Marine would, but instead of going to a base and getting stationed there, you go back home, right? And then you go to school or you get a job and then you go to base once a month. And really the mission of the Marine Corps Reserve is to augment and reinforce the active duty counterparts, right? So if an emergency happens. So I joined the Marine Corps Reserves, and then coming out of high school, I partied a lot. I had a really good time in high school. And I joined the Marine Corps because I always wanted to be in the military. But then when I was getting ready to graduate, I was like, wow, this college thing sounds like a whole lot of fun. Like, it looks like a blast. Right. So why wouldn't I want to go to college? Right. And when I'm sitting in the recruiter's chair, he's like, well, why don't you just join the reserves so you can go to college and
both
you can.
Worlds, yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, holy shit, sign me up, okay? So I go to boot camp, I come back, and after going through all that training, it was really a mindset shift for me. So I was like, wow, if I can do that, I can do anything.
Right.
Right, because I was never super smart. I was very average in sports. Just very average, right, growing up. And then I was like, holy shit, I did this thing that I perceived as being so difficult. Like, I can do anything now. So math, science wasn't really my thing in high school, but I said, I did this Marine Corps thing. I can do anything. I want to study engineering. So I go to Temple. I start studying engineering. And college was cool. I'm doing the engineering thing, but I don't love it. So I talk to a recruiter, and he's like, well, you can be a pilot because you have this degree and you can commission as an officer. So I'm like, that sounds awesome. Sign me up, okay? So fast forward 4 years, I graduate college. I have this flight contract, like I'm getting ready to commission, and I go down to Pensacola, Florida to take a flight physical. And they say, nope, disqualified, you can't be a pilot. You have this eye condition called amblyopia. We won't go too far into it, but basically your eyes don't communicate with your brain. Similar to like if you had a stroke, right?
Not laughing at that. I'm just like
right.
Trying to fly a plane.
Yeah.
Sounds like it could be a problem.
It could be an issue, right? So they say, if you caught this condition early enough, you could have patched your dominant eye for your weak eye to catch up. But because you're so old, your brain is formed, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm like, okay, I don't believe you. I'm going to find a way, right? So I graduated college at this point, and I had a moving company when I was in college.
A moving company?
A moving company.
I've never heard about this.
No.
What was the name of it?
Oh, I learned from the best. Austin.
Austin?
Yeah.
Shout out Austin Cartmeyer.
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, I had a small moving company in college, and it was great, but I was paying for leads, right? And the job might last a day. So I'm like, oh, what can I do now that I kind of graduated? I'm in this limbo state because it's like,
and that was sufficient for you at the time.
How do you mean
the moving thing? Like you were good with it between that and between being in school and in the reserves, like. So it was just like a side hustle.
It was a side hustle.
All right. Yeah.
It's how I financed my whole college career.
Right.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But.
And you probably learned some awesome core values throughout that process.
No,
you didn't. All right. Sorry.
No.
Go, continue.
No. So I'm like, oh man, like this is great, but I'm paying $50-100 for a lead and the jobs only last for a day. Right. I'm like, oh, what could I do now? I'm like, oh, why don't I start, like I could paint a wall. Right. So I was like, oh, I'll start a painting company. So that was like my last semester because I was a little bit ahead. So I started this painting company, graduate. They say I can't be a pilot. I basically say, fuck you. I'm going to figure out a way. So what you can do with amblyopia is vision therapy. And you can essentially like retrain your brain so it fixes your eyes. I did 40 weeks of vision therapy, and I was a painting and kind of handyman contractor during that time. I also flipped a house during it because I'm kind of like this contractor guy, right?
Oh, we have to get into that later, but go on.
We can
Go on.
go down that rabbit hole later. So I do this vision therapy, and then I'm like, hey, guys, can I come back down for another evaluation? And they say, no, we don't believe you. So then I go up the chain of command, up the chain of command, up and up and up, trying to get like, hey, just give me another shot, test my eyes, okay? And then what I did, I was getting nowhere, so I wrote my congressman. He comes back, he's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. I can pull some strings for you. And then COVID happened. So then that drew that process out another 6 months.
Right.
So I finally get back down to Pensacola for another flight physical. But this is like 2 years at this at this point. And I'm like, well, if this pilot thing doesn't work out, what am I going to do?
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I think I can make this painting company work, right? Because at that time, it was really just a hustle. It wasn't business, right? I didn't have a sales process. I had no way of bringing leads in the door. It was like I painted for someone for a day rate. I made okay money, and then they passed along my number. It was very, very basic. No systems. I didn't really have any tools. I was working out of my like Chevy Malibu that I tore the back seats out, right?
Work rig.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with the painting company. And then I go back to Pensacola for the second flight physical. I pass all of the tests that I failed the first time. And then the doctor who disqualified me the first time, who had the congressional letter dropped on him,
Yeah.
he pulls me aside, he takes my blood pressure, and he says I have high blood pressure.
Dude, this guy like have it out for you or something?
Right.
Oh man.
Right. Which I've never been told in my life before.
Right.
So I got disqualified again. So I come back to Philly, and I'm like, all right, it's time to start this painting company, right? So I completely rebrand everything. I took an online course on how to run a painting company, and
What was the name of it prior to Paint Philly?
Blue Fox Painters.
Oh shit, I do remember that.
Blue Fox Painters.
Yeah.
So
And you went with this Paint Philly rebrand.
I went with the Paint Philly rebrand because I was driving one day. I was like, paint. That's it. That's it.
Dude, it fucking works.
Because everybody is John Smith
Yeah.
or Colin Slota painting
Yeah.
or Slota's property maintenance,
Oh, come on, man. You gotta drop that shit on me.
right?
No, seriously though. Yeah, you're right.
But like, I want to build a brand. I don't want it to be Andrew's painting.
Right.
Okay. So I take an online course and to try and build this thing into a company and take it away
Right.
from the side hustle. And what I do, I go and I start knocking on people's doors.
Classic.
Right? Knock, knock, knock. Hey, I noticed you had some peeling paint. I'd love to give you an estimate. Look down at the clipboard and assume that they're going to, give you their info. Well, I learned real quick in our area, there's not that much wood. It's a lot
Our
of
area meaning where we grew up.
like northeast,
Just northeast.
the north,
Got
like
it. Okay.
Philly and the surrounding counties. There's a lot of vinyl siding. There's a lot of aluminum siding. There's a lot of brick, right? In some neighborhoods with wood, right? So the whole knock, 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 I noticed you had some peeling paint on your house thing, wasn't really working.
Yeah, because they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right. Like, what are you
I have a
talking
brick house, man.
Yeah. And I got some leads. I didn't convert any of them to sales. Like,
Yeah.
it just didn't work. And then we go into the cold months. And that's when, like, work starts to slow up. So what did I do at that point? At that point, I found another way.
Hey, can I come in your house and paint your
Right.
fireplace?
So at that point, what I started doing to generate leads was just networking. Networking hard, trying to get my name out there all over social media.
Networking with anyone and anybody, right?
What's that?
Like anyone in,
No, because I
or other
also
contractors?
I also started paying for leads too,
Okay.
right? And I learned real quick that you can chase all these crazy leads, but if they're not qualified, you're never going to get the job.
Which leads us into what we want to discuss with you.
Right.
So Andrew has a pretty killer sales process, and I really want to kind of dive into that without obviously giving any proprietary information away. So like you decided that lead gen, obviously like you're getting qualified leads, you're not chasing these people down, knowing, chase people down, not even knowing if they're qualified or not, right? So like these leads that are getting generated are pre-qualified people that you already know are your target customer, correct?
Correct.
How do we do that?
How do we
get there? How did you get there from the barbaric knocking on doors to
How do we get the leads, or how do we convert the leads to sales?
let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Like how did you start to generate those leads? Like what changes did you make to get away from that like word to mouth and knocking on doors like hustle sales mentality?
Yeah. So I started digital marketing.
Okay.
Right. I started digital marketing with this like guy who was very new to digital marketing. And we were doing some Facebook ads, we were doing some Google ads. And at the time, I thought I had this like dope website. It looked sweet. It looked really good. But what would happen, he would run a Google ad. It would take them to the website that my graphic designer developed, and nothing would happen because the website wasn't designed for conversions, right?
There was no call to action.
Exactly. There was no call to action. There was nothing to pre-sell the customer. There was nothing to build trust.
Right.
There was nothing to show that you're the subject matter expert, right? It was just a big house that looked sweet, and it says schedule an estimate, right? That doesn't make anyone get to know you better. That doesn't build trust. You don't have any social proof with that, right? It's just a pretty house. It's not going to do anything.
Right.
So I got my website rebuilt, right? And I got it rebuilt to start pre-selling jobs, right? So I want someone to go on my website, and I want them to know that they want to work with me before I even knock on their door.
Right.
Right. So I want to start that pre-selling process. So we got a new website, and that helped a lot. Right. So we get some leads coming in the door through paid Google ads.
Right.
They like the website, it built some trust. Okay. That's one way we started getting leads. Networking. And that's really it. That's how
as far as like branding,
yeah.
it seems like, I remember the Blue Fox painting days now that you say it out loud.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember that one tree job where you were like, you were GCing, remember? And you,
I
Blue
tried
Fox,
to be, yeah.
Blue
I
Fox.
I tried to be a GC for like a month.
Yeah.
That didn't work. Another failed business.
You live and learn, right? But like from that era to now, it just seems, and even now, like looking back from when we started working together, and by no means am I trying to push Envious Media on the listeners, but just truthfully, like, look at how much your brand has grown just from that. So like what, in that earlier time frame, like what were you doing to build that brand? Because I remember like the testimonial videos, you were showing your face a shit ton, like, and you still do, right? And I think a lot of people don't do that. And not that I can speak on behalf of the painting industry, but I know from the landscaping industry that it is a little barbaric, and I feel like it's kind of the same with painting in a sense. And I feel like your brand and image versus the stereotypical like Joe's painting with a white Chevy Astro van is like night and day.
Yeah.
So what were you doing to like build that brand and like, you're getting trust from your clients, but how are you doing that?
Yeah. So I think there was a huge shift when I went from Blue Fox Painters to Paint Philly, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing I did with Paint Philly, I was like, I need to get a dope logo. Mm-hmm. And then I got this dope
Brad
logo.
fucking loves your logo.
Yeah.
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 Hardcore. Go on.
Shout
Sorry.
out to Jeff.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah. Shout out Jeff Harkins. Great guy.
That's a designer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a dope logo.
Yeah. I think check him out on Instagram. Just Jeff Harkins or Jeff Harkins 47. Anyways, I had this dope logo, but now I'm like, okay, I need content that accurately reflects that, and we need to be showing who we are and not just have this awesome logo, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I don't care what I have to do to get to my goal. I'm going to get there, right? And I know, the brand that I have built in my mind needs to be reflected on social media, right? And in our website and the way all of our content is filmed. So, and that's why, I hired you guys, because you can do that. And then also, if going in front of the camera is going to help build trust with my audience, right? That's what I want to do. There's no
that's the bread and butter of your pre-qualification process right there.
right, and there's no, hey, I'm shy, I don't want to be on camera, or hey, this feels awkward.
Hey, it's Andrew with Q&A Friday.
Right, like it doesn't fucking matter.
No,
you just need to get in front of the camera,
right,
and do it and show who you are and show your work, right? Because if I can't put my face in front of the camera and I won't back my brand up, then what are we even worth?
Right.
Right? And by no means are we perfect, but if there's a problem, we fix it.
Right.
And that's it.
Well, I think that just goes hand in hand with your brand in a whole. And I think oftentimes, not even just in our industries, that's like it's not common enough. People branding and being present on social media, but not like, aside from the brand, the dope logo, like, again, building I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Like, it's like showing their face. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And familiarizing the people with their employees and themselves and the process and what kind of work they do. I mean, there's nothing hidden about you guys at all. Like,
Right.
It's all right there.
I want what you see to reflect the work we do.
Right.
Because let's be honest, no one really cares about that like sweet new paintbrush that you just got, unless you're in the industry, right?
Right.
But I'm marketing towards homeowners, right? They don't care about how we tape a line, right?
Right.
They want to
feel important, man.
right, and they want to see in our marketing, the quality of work should be reflected,
Right.
if that makes sense, with the logo, with how we shoot our content, with how we act in front of the camera.
Right. And so it's just all of these elements, compiled that are building
Into the brand.
your brand. Yeah. I mean, exponential growth, really. I mean, how long has it been since you started? Since you rebranded into Paint Philly.
Since I've rebranded into Paint Philly,
Yeah.
we launched like right when COVID happened.
Is that new?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not that new. COVID's been fucking forever.
What,
but
like a year and a half?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild. That is insane. You're fucking crushing it. Oh, shut up. Don't be modest. He's
no,
fucking crushing it, yeah.
We do a lot of things very well, and we
Yeah.
need to work on a lot of things, right? I always like to say, strive for excellence,
Yeah.
settle for greatness.
Right. I mean, dude, you care more than anyone I know. And that's a testament to Paint Philadelphia. I mean, how many times have you called me, yo, do you know how to get paint off of pavers? I'm like, oh, what the fuck, man? Again? Not that they make a lot of mistakes.
That happened once.
Twice. Fuck you. Paver and deck.
And deck.
All right. Okay, so it only happened twice.
So-
but regardless, like, shit happens, right? And
Shit happens. Out of the 150 jobs we've done,
right.
2.
Right. But my point being that, like, Joe Schmo's painting more often than not is probably not going to go back to fix the paint on the paver after he collected the last check.
Yeah, no way.
Right. So again, I think that's a testament to your personal brand and Paint Philly. So a little bit more into your sales process, then I want to jump back. What are we looking like for time here, Brad?
We're good.
Okay.
Can we go back for 1 second?
Sure.
With the brand and to cleaning paint off pavers and decks and all that. So our mission, it may sound corny, it's to make the world a more beautiful place, one paint job at a time, right?
Hell yeah, brother.
And that's not just, making your wall look pretty, right? That is
Don't look at our wall. Don't
looks
look
like
at our-
shit. That's serving everybody at the highest level possible,
Right.
right? So that's your clients and those are your team members. But you can do a great job, but if you get paint on a paver and you don't fix it, how's that serving someone at the highest level possible, right?
Right.
So, anyways, you were gonna say
No, I mean,
before I rudely cut you off.
unbelievable. It's like every fucking day you cut me off. But no, so, I mean, like, clearly you have, that sales funnel figured out. Again, without diving too deep into the
You
proprietary.
can go as deep as you want to go, my friend.
I mean, we could be here for a long time. But, like, I want to talk about closing, too. Because,
Okay.
like, obviously, through this branding and the Google ads and,
Yeah.
and SEO and all the other stuff that you're doing to generate these sales. So by the time that they fall in your email or phone, they're already, that this person's qualified, they're ready to spend money, and their budget matches what they're looking to do, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we just have pricing on our website. Like, I just try and be as transparent as possible. There's no hiding.
Is there like a base package or like how does that?
Oh, no, like literally go to the pricing tab on our website.
Yeah.
And you can look at an average small, medium, large room, base price for walls, base price for like wall ceiling trim. Exteriors are a little trickier, but we have, general ranges of houses.
Right.
Like, let's not beat around the bush here. The price is the price.
Right.
And if you're in the budget, fantastic, right? We can provide an incredible experience.
Yeah.
If we're outside the budget, then it is what it is, right? And you can find a better fit for you.
Right.
So I never understood why people beat
Hide
around
that
the
shit.
bush with
Yeah.
pricing. If anything, if someone's not transparent with me, I'm not
You're
going to
more
trust them.
skeptical, yeah.
Right, I'm not going to trust them.
Right.
And the price you see is the price you get, and then when we're done, it's not like, oh, it's going to be another whatever. Right?
Yeah, listen here, Mrs. Jones. Yeah. But no, I mean, and like, let's talk a little bit about the tail end of your sales process. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about closing.
Okay.
You fucking are good at that, right?
I'm okay.
You modest motherfucker. No,
So-
but seriously,
yeah.
like you seem like you kill the closing process. So like, what transpires? All right, I'm pre-qualified. I hit your email or your phone, whatever. Like, what process transpires after that? Like, what are you doing differently that other guys aren't doing? And I'm asking this because I know what the
Yeah.
process is, but like for the people listening.
So what I do, I show up on time. I knock on the doors, and I take my shoes off when I walk in. It's not rocket science.
No, but I mean,
Right?
You're
and then I just ask the customer about their project.
yeah.
I am completely honest throughout the entire thing. And then I say, hey, give me like 10, 15 minutes. Let me go take some measurements.
Right.
And I'll work up a number for you. Right? And then I take 10 or 15 minutes. I work up a number for them. I say, hey, this is how much it's going to cost. What do you think?
And let's just say this. Mrs.
And then-
Jones says yes, Andrew. The price looks great.
I
What's
say,
next?
Awesome. Fantastic. So like, this proposal should be in your inbox. Just go ahead, accept it for me. And then we take a 25% deposit to get on the schedule. How do you want to pay?
And then what about like color, like,
So we do color consults to all of our projects.
and that's complimentary.
Complimentary.
Okay.
Comes with every job, free of charge. Because I would rather hire a color consultant or designer and get the right color the first time
Right.
before you spend thousands of dollars.
Right.
So it just makes sense.
And that's included in your pricing already.
Yes.
And you go out and do the color consults, or you have
No, we have a designer.
Okay, so you have a designer that goes out and does all that.
So I'm really good at knowing how, or I shouldn't say I am, my team members are fantastic at putting the paint on the walls. I understand the technique behind it. I understand a little bit of the chemistry behind it, right? I would say I'm almost an expert when it comes to like coatings.
Yeah.
Far from an expert, but I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
My team members are fantastic at putting the coatings on the walls, and then our designer is fantastic at picking the colors out, right? I think if you want to...
So do you kind of
Yeah.
leave the color selection process in the client and designer's hands?
So
Or are you like, oh, you know what would look really great here? Are you doing that on that initial consultation, or like what?
if people ask me, I'll make recommendations.
Yeah.
I do need to know, is that wall going to be like the same color, or is it going to be like white, or is it going to be like red? Just give me an idea, right? because different colors, there's different process.
Right.
If they say, hey, I want a white, okay, which white? I can't help you with that, our designer can.
Right. So like general colors, you're giving them ideas, but really when they get to the nitty gritty shit is when they
Exactly.
are working it out with the
Exactly.
designer.
And I find if I make a recommendation and they don't like it, it's my fault, right? And I
Yeah.
am, the face of the company right now.
Right.
Whereas if someone else does it and they don't like
Nah, well, you picked it.
right?
Sure, but truth, yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's good to have that separation of job description, right? Which I think is why, having me not doing the painting and having team members that do the painting helps with
The separation.
the
yeah.
separation, right? And it also helps me take my emotions out of it because I didn't spend 20 hours painting your wall and there's that little touch up in the corner.
Right.
Right? I see, it's no good, so we fix it.
Right.
You know?
Cool. So not to get too off topic here, but I'm just more curious than anything, like, because I know how COVID affected the landscaping industry from getting materials. So like, what has that been like?
So
Like, is there stuff back ordered? Like, is
Yeah.
there certain colors you can't get? Like, what's that look like?
gone are the days where you can roll up to the paint store in the morning
Get what you want?
and get what you want. Granted, if you have like a week,
Yeah.
you can get what you want. You just
Okay.
need to give them like a week heads up.
All right, so that's not
It's
that
not-
bad
it's
compared to other
really
industries.
not that
but,
bad.
But like prior to that, you could just roll up and be like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I need a pizza crust tan,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
you could get it.
Now,
And honestly, that was the color of my room when I lived at Richie's house. It was pizza crust tan. Favorite color. Sorry.
good color.
Yeah.
Never heard of it
Unbelievable.
until today.
And are you like biased towards a certain paint brand, like
We use Sherwin products.
Sherwin?
We use Sherwin.
Is that like the bee's knees?
It doesn't mean anything. The manufacturer doesn't mean a thing. It's the product.
The product.
So Sherwin makes paint that is $100 a gallon
Yeah.
and $10 a gallon. PPG makes paint that's
I don't
100.
even know what the fuck that is.
You-
Right.
It's 110. It's really the product in that
The ingredients within whatever.
because I can get white paint in good, better, or best.
Right.
So it's the good, better, or best that matters, not the
Yeah.
brand.
Cool. So I want to jump back to the house flipping story,
Okay,
if you're cool to talk about it.
sure.
All right, cool. Because I mean, we've been talking about a lot of sexy shit, and
Yeah.
like Beans, like it's all positive and great, but like let's talk about some other things that have occurred.
Okay. So
Because like truthfully, like you flipped the house, it was a great experience, right?
fantastic experience.
Would you do it the same way you did it again?
Absolutely not.
So
Absolutely
like tell,
not.
I mean, I don't think Brad's heard this story either. Like how'd it go down? Where was
So,
it? Like
yeah.
what was the plan? And
It was in Fishtown. I did all the work, and I was at the point where I was putting on some baseboard at like 9:00 at night, and I had a Brad or finish nailer right
Yeah.
in my hand, about to like put it on, and I fell asleep on my hands and knees in the corner putting on the baseboard, and that's when I realized I didn't want to be a contractor, and I say that in air quotes. It was a lot of long hours. It was a fantastic learning experience. I learned a lot about just like renovating houses.
Sure.
And
you learned that you don't want to do all the fucking work yourself, huh?
yeah, I think in business everything should be specialized,
100%.
right? So like right now as the owner, I have sales and marketing, I have production,
Meaning
I have,
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have team building, right? As we grow, those should all be specialties because it's a lot.
Specialties meaning you should.
So I hire someone for sales and marketing.
Yeah, you're delegating
Right.
these tasks as you
Right.
grow.
And that should be the only thing you do because you can get really, 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 really good at doing that one thing or be super average at doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
5 years from now, where do you see yourself, like in the company?
in the company,
Mm-hmm.
that's a really good question. I've struggled with it a lot. I think my 3-year plan, or my next year plan, is a lot more clear than 5 years.
Right.
It comes back to how do I make the world a more beautiful place, one paint job at a time. And I think that is scaling and growing so I can have a positive impact on all of my team members I bring in. And so we can provide a fantastic experience for all of our customers.
Right.
Because I truly believe that we empower all of our team members to lead a fantastic life, and we provide the best experience
For everybody.
for everybody.
Yeah.
So I think if I can scale, I can make a more positive impact in more people's lives. So I think scaling is the way to go.
Yeah. So that's the short version of the long-term plan, huh?
Yeah.
Scaling.
Scale.
But the 5-year plan's a little unclear.
Scale.
Scale. Yeah.
Scale.
I like that.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well, I mean, I think that's pretty good as far as the sales process. I appreciate you coming out here. Definitely going to have you back again.
Yeah, man. I'd love to be back.
We'll see. No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, it was awesome. So thanks for coming on. For those of you listening, please, please, please share the podcast, like the podcast.
If you want to know more about Paint Philly,
Yeah.
Paint Philadelphia on Instagram, www.paintphilly.com.
Check out those badass videos that were made.
Paint Philadelphia on Facebook. We keep it easy.
Yeah, man. Love it. Thanks for tuning in, guys.